10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Hello once again. Welcome in. It's another round of Battle with All Things. It's the Exiles. I don't know what the hell that was supposed to be.
I don't know, but we got quite a bit of monitor on you. It makes you sound a little Orson Wellesian.
I know. What is that? It's like I sound like the voice of God here in the studio.
Will you sell more wine before it's time?
No, I am your father. Wow! Can we back that interior monitor off a little bit?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
We're trying to do it subtly when I say, wow, we got a lot of Kevin in the monitor.
We had, before airtime, we had a little scare because, you know, our Cox internet went out. It came back on just in time, and we've had to do a little resetting, a little scrambling and stuff like that, so we hope you'll excuse. But welcome back, and glad to have you with us. Today on the program, there's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. One, around this time of year, in the springtime and early summer, it's usually fill-in organ name here month. Mm-hmm. And it's a month to be aware of the health of that part of your body and to maybe think about going and getting a screening for the various cancers that assault. I mean, we have colorectal cancer, we have all sorts of lung cancer,
cervical cancer, lung cancer,
brain cancer. There's all sorts of things that you can get early screenings for that everybody agrees that the early screening and the early detection is your best chance of getting a pass.
True enough, but
on dying of cancer.
I'm thinking the early screenings have been shut down, at least in terms of inside medical facilities, because of the quarantines.
Indeed, and with phase 2 beginning tomorrow, pre-screenings are going to reopen. And we're going to get the lowdown on pre-screenings for various cancers with John A. Benjamin. She is the head of early detection programs at Mary Bird Perkins Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center. She'll be joining us this hour.
And again, it's good information because I think a lot of you have been wondering when you're going to be able to get these screenings done. Well, she will tell you. And since Mary Bird Perkins OLOL serves an entire region, it's good that we've got John A. because there are a lot of people in Acadiana and people in the river parishes that get their screenings and their treatment at Mary Bird Perkins Our Lady of the Lake.
I mean, it is the cancer center for Southeast Louisiana.
Yeah, so we will have John A. with us. Leo Honeycutt is going to visit with us, and we're going to double duty Leo at the top of the next hour. Ask him what in the tarnation Sam Hill is going on in that big pointy building in downtown Baton Rouge, and what everybody in emergency management is going through with Cristobal. Or is it Cristobal? Or is it?
Pick one.
We have got so many pronunciations floating around. We're going to say it's the C word.
I love when they introduce a hurricane name, or it's not been introduced, it's been used before, but when a hurricane name has a very ethnic root to it.
Yes.
Because that's when you get people got no idea how to pronounce that damn thing.
Well, do you remember, it was not too long ago, where they had Guillaume, which is
William.
French for William.
It's William, it's your name.
And people around here were going, what is that Guillaume thing? We have a French heritage here in Louisiana.
Well, and who remembers back in the early 90s when Hurricane Georges came? George came. It's French, but it's George with an S at the end. It's George.
Well, and again, the one that hit us pretty good, there were still people arguing long after it was over whether the damage was from Hurricane Gustave or Hurricane Gustav.
That's a kind of a potato sort of thing.
Well, I think Cristobal might be a potato kind of thing.
Crazy. Storm names. We talked about this a little bit on our podcast yesterday.
What is the sign person doing? How are they pronouncing it?
Wow.
Is he saying?
just did that. Yeah, honest to God. Wow. How does the sign guy pronounce it?
I think that's a legitimate question.
I think in a lot of cases they just spell the word out when it's a name, a proper name.
Oh, come on.
There's usually not signs for names like Steve. You know, you just do the. And believe me, I do not know universal sign language at all.
No sense of humor. I want to know how the guys who do the signing pronounce. Is it Cristobal or Cristobal? I think that's a legitimate question.
Cristobal.
Get somebody on the phone down at the governor's office.
Why is it every time I say it, I want to sound like Ricardo Montalban?
You can't help yourself.
It's rich Corinthian leather.
Well, you ought to. If you ever decide to retire,
if I ever am able to retire.
You ought to pack up Marianne and go to northern Mexico or Puerto Rico, one of the two, because all of the radio people sound exactly like you.
They sound like the guy on Univision. I can't remember that guy. Andreas Cantor.
Even the women. They sound exactly like you.
The guy who called they don't call it soccer, it's football.
Football.
But it's a goal. I love that guy.
Yeah. But you do sound a little bit like Ricardo. So do I have to do Hervé Belchez? I have to go, boss, keep playing.
No.
Do I have to do that?
I don't think so.
All right.
About now, the Latin American community is ready to storm this place with about 10,000 Antifa, at the rear.
Oh, come on.
I'm joking.
Losing
Antifa,
your phone, Wilma.
Turning it from light to serious, and we're going to talk a little about this after the break. It was a rough night in New Orleans last night. The peaceful demonstrations became not so much last night.
And we're also going to give you the latest on Cristobal, and make your preparations now. Our snack bar is open.
Breaky. We'll be right back.
Taste the feeling.
Guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Univision 2. I'm sorry. Welcome back to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. He is Kevin Gallagher.
I am. It's no turning back now.
They didn't pick us up on Univision. You know why?
Well, because we don't speak Spanish?
Nah, they don't either.
Just gonna spitball here.
No, we don't. We don't have a really, really good-looking woman who's who stands in front of the set all the time, like what's her name who played Gloria on Modern Family?
Talking about Sofia Vergara, she
Yes,
got her
her,
start on
yes.
on Univision. But
Yeah.
that is kind of the hallmark of their channel. And this is caveman, sexist, incoming. Here it comes. But that's kind of that's the house that Jack built. They built their channel on really beautiful, exotic women.
It's what they do. They think it works for them.
It does work for them.
Well, I wouldn't know because I don't understand what they're saying.
It works for Fox News. It works for CNN. Think about it. You check the ratings for somebody like what's her name, Brooke.
Oh yeah.
I don't watch CNN, so I forget their names.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking
But,
about.
okay, let's go to CNN headline news. Robin Meade in the morning. What do you think her viewership is?
She's got high ratings.
Exactly, and it's because she's a good anchor and she's easy on the eyes.
Well, and she's
both for men
also a
and
very
women.
nice person,
Yeah,
and that
she
comes
is.
through.
She is.
What about? I mean, how do you explain away the lead anchor on CNN for so many years, Christiane Amanpour?
I think she's lovely.
Do you?
Yes, Christiane Amanpour. She's a lovely woman.
I mean,
And she's very good at what she does.
She's a good
I don't
reporter.
always agree with her bias, but
she's a good reporter. But I mean, if they lined up the other four you just talked about and Christiane and said, one of you is going to go to a fabulous dinner at
Would
21.
you rather? Are we going to play that? Yeah. Why don't we just do some beer pong while we're at it? Though?
You started this.
Good God Almighty!
You started this. It wasn't me.
Going from silly to serious, it got a little rough last night in New Orleans. I had been very, very proud that just about all the protests in the wake of the death of George Floyd had been mostly nonviolent. I was alarmed that New Orleans City Police let them get up onto and take Interstate 10.
I think that was an error.
That was troubling,
Yeah.
and but maybe it was you don't know. I'm not going to call their shots for them. Maybe it was a situation where they couldn't protect the interstate without actually having to hurt somebody. But they used tear gas to disperse a crowd of protesters attempting to cross the Crescent City Connection Bridge last night, after what had been several days of peaceful protests. Around 9:30 last night, big crowd just decided up they go onto the Pontchartrain Expressway, and they're headed for the Crescent City Connection.
Well, I was really shocked, and I was questioning the reasoning in New York. And I don't pay taxes there, but last night, the protest in New York, which was completely peaceful, the minute it got 1 minute past curfew, and you can see the captain who was in charge of the squad out there, it got 1 minute past curfew, the visors came down, the batons came out.
In New York City?
In New York City, and they were chasing. They didn't say, okay, it's
You've had your protest, it's time to go home.
And we'll see you tomorrow if you want to come back, but you need to go. And there were people that were running away saying, we're leaving, and they were tackling them. And I mean, I was appalled. And it's like,
I didn't see any of this. I'm sorry.
well, there were some cameras that got
shocking.
some nice close-ups, and the looks on some of these officers' faces, you can tell they were enraged. And isn't that the problem that we're talking about?
Yes, that is the problem we're talking about.
But I mean, it's like
obviously Derek Chauvin, however they pronounce his name. There was some rage going on there. You mentioned when the thing had first happened and we were talking about the outrage of what happened to George Floyd, you said the man looked like the cop, Derek Chauvin, looked like he was in some kind of a trance or something.
Yes, he did.
I mean, I saw that face. That was not the face of a reasonable thinking man.
Well, reckless disregard was the first thing that came to mind. And now that you've got more of the audio reporting that's coming out, and you can, when they say it, you can match it to the video. And when the other cop says, do you think we should let him up? Chauvin did this. He did, nope. He didn't even look down to see why the other officer said, do you think we should let him up? Now that is blatant. That is egregious.
I think that it was chance that Chauvin got called to the scene where he encountered George Floyd, and I think it was chance that it was George Floyd. It's not chance, though, that these men knew each other. They had worked together on security details in a big nightclub.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to find out that the two men have some personal history.
Well,
and I think that officer himself was personally prejudiced against George Floyd, not necessarily racially, but possibly racially as well. But I think that there's a whole story here why he treated George Floyd the way he did that we don't know yet.
And everybody needs to listen to the testimony very carefully. And it may be very, very hard to listen to. But I do think, if I think nothing else, that this is going to change a lot of things in this country. There are going to be a lot of things that come out that we've ignored or said, well, it doesn't happen in my town, or I'm not like that. And I think we're all going to take, instead of the 100-yard view, I think we're going to take the 10-inch view of this. And it shouldn't take a blatant taking of a life, which has become a national tragedy, to get us to do that. It really shouldn't.
It really shouldn't. As you mentioned earlier, when you talked about New York policing, you could see rage on their faces.
What the hell was wrong with them?
Well, it troubles me because police officers, any good police officer will tell you that rage is not supposed to be part of the picture. Now, you've got adrenaline flow, you've got fear for your personal safety because cops are just people. But rage is meting out street justice, if you will, and I don't think that's ever the way a cop should handle it.
And I am thinking that there are some very, very, very pointed discussions happening in New York today with the hierarchy in that police department, because it was almost on cue, Kevin. Okay, curfew, visors down, let's clear the streets. Not, hey, see you tomorrow if you want to come back.
Did they have like the water cannon already in place and everything like that?
I didn't see that, but let me tell you what, they had a zillion cops. Yeah. And they really chased after these people who were, in fact, leaving. And on the close-up views, there was rage in there. This one guy in a white shirt, so in New York, if he's in a white shirt, he's a supervisor.
Yeah.
He actually roundhouse punched this guy after throwing him up over the fence, and you can hear him say, "Get the hell out of here." And the guy's like, "That's what I'm trying to do."
Good God, Bill, it's like 1968 all over again.
It's awful.
We need to take a break. We're going to change the subject when we come back. Guess what? COVID-19 is slowing down. Phase 2 opening up. It's time to get your cancer screenings. We're going to talk with John A. Benjamin with Mary Bird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake, next.
Hi, John A.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis. Not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
We're back. It's Exiles TV. Bill Profito over there, Kevin Gallagher here. And we're joined in the center chair by our friend Johnny Benjamin. She is let me see if I get this right. You are the Director of Early Detection Programs.
Yes.
For Mary Bird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center, the region's premier cancer center. And thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
So, John A., we've had you on our old radio show many, many times, and you actually head up a lot of the educational programs and the screening programs. But we're in a unique situation now because I would imagine most, if not all, of your very important cancer screening programs got put on hold during COVID.
Yes, so just like people across our state and across the country, we had to think about the safety of our staff and our patients and our participants. And so we had to make the decision that even though we know screening is important, we had to put that on hold until we could get a better feel of what was going on in our community and how we can deliver those services safely.
Now, just for everybody that's listening, because we go regionally and there are a lot of people in the region that use Mary Bird Perkins, Our Lady of the Lake. Does screening include things like mammography and all these other tests?
Yes, so our screening program, we offer screening for 5 types of cancer, and these are screening accessible cancer. So the thing we always talk about when I'm with you is that a screening is something you do when you feel great. Mm-hmm. And so we have breast, prostate, skin, colorectal, and oral cavity cancers that we offer as a part of our program. And so in various scenarios, we may offer 1 or 2 or sometimes more of those screening types, but it's always something that we're asking people to do when they feel great on a regular, typically annual schedule. There's also the opportunity sometimes something doesn't feel quite right. And so then you want to have, you still want to be checked out. And so that's another opportunity to engage our program.
So I take it we're kickstarting here.
We are getting back out on the road. Of course, our program is called Prevention on the Go. And so for a program who bases everything on being on the go, it's really difficult to have to step back and think about how you're going to do things. So we're really excited that now we have the opportunity to take our mobile medical clinics back out into the community. The same program that people have come to know and trust will be back out in our units, but then we'll be doing things and what I think is going to be our new normal. And so making sure that everyone is safe and has the opportunity to engage us in a way that they feel comfortable.
Now, is this going to be, at least to begin with, by appointment only, or are walk-ups going to be available?
So we are asking everyone to help us by calling us. Give us a call. Let's set you up with an appointment so that when you come for your designated time, you're not there with us long. We have the opportunity to get all your paperwork or the majority of your paperwork done before you arrive. Mm-hmm. It helps us to space patients out so that way you're not coming in contact with the person before or after you. And
because social distancing is still a thing.
Exactly. We will ask people to wear a mask. We will have on masks, and all these things we're doing so that we can be in the community, but that people also have the opportunity to get their cancer screenings. We've seen in the last few months, upwards of 90% of people had to cancel or reschedule their appointments. And so what we want to do is encourage people, if you canceled it or rescheduled it, call that provider back. Find out if they're open and when they can see you. If you didn't have an appointment or you don't have a provider, call us. Find out and let us talk you through where we're going to be and how we can make that appointment for you.
For you, it had been, what, about 75, maybe 80 days since you'd been able to do any screenings?
Since about March, mid-March.
My question is there any concern that 75 or 80 days could make the difference in early detection? Or is that really not enough time to make a serious difference in early detection?
So what we don't want to happen, 75 to 80 days, we're still at a good point to call us. And again, when we're talking about screening, you're not feeling anything, nothing's wrong. It was just time for that annual, let's say, mammogram. Now's a good time to call us. What we're concerned about is people who put it off until next year. things are busy now, things are getting back to normal, you're headed back to work, and you say, oh, I'll just do it later. We want people to take the time now to make that appointment again and to keep it and to stay as close to schedule as you can. It sounds cliche. I always feel like a broken record when I say early detection saves lives, but it does. We put a lot of thought and energy into having the best technology available to treat cancer, but we do that better when we find it early too.
I have a personal friend who had her thyroid cancer detected very, very early, and she's going to be fine. Everything went by the numbers. She's going to be just fine. But it's because she got it checked out while it was still very, very small, very nothing to it.
Exactly.
Well, and is it still true that men are the worst?
Yes.
That I know my wife will go in for her screenings almost on the same day every year. And in fact, this COVID thing caught when she was supposed to go for her mammogram. Me, it's like, cardiologist says, I need to see you next Wednesday. And I go, yeah, maybe. I mean, is it
I'm not going to say that men are the worst, but sometimes we have to do some extra encouraging to get you to take the time to care for yourself. A lot of times we're just busy and we are so keen on taking care of others that we forget the importance of taking care of ourselves, and that if we don't, we won't be here to do those other things. And so the other thing is, if during this time something started to feel not quite right, but you kind of put it off because it didn't seem urgent enough, now's a good time to call and begin to share what you were feeling and get in to see someone, because that could also be something that we could still identify early to give you the better outcomes.
Under normal circumstances, about how many screenings do you all do in a month?
So in a year, it's roughly 5,000. And so we try to be out at least 3 to 4 times a week, typically seeing about 40 or so people. And so that's a large number of people, in the hundreds, you would say, in the last few months who we haven't seen. But we are coming back out so that we can catch everybody up. And then people who were scheduled now, as you're kind of trying to make those decisions, is it time, is it not? Give us a call and let us start getting you scheduled as well, so that people don't fall into that kind of loop of, next year, because sometimes 1 year turns into 2 before we know it.
I am fascinated by mobile medical clinics. When I was a kid, the X-ray mobile would come and do chest X-rays back when we still thought it was a good idea to irradiate people once a year. That's gone away. But what's in your mobile screening clinics?
So our mobile medical clinics are what you would expect in a brick and mortar facility, except we can bring it a little bit closer to you, especially in areas where you may be more rural, you may not have the same level of access. And even in our urban areas, it's just an opportunity for us to bring the service closer to people. So we have private exam rooms, so you have your own space like you would expect. There's a check-in area, there's a waiting area. That will be limited during this time, but it's much of what you would expect in a brick and mortar facility, except it's the same technology that you would have in our clinic setting. It's just that we're able to reach more people by bringing it out.
So you talked about prostate cancer screening. I'm guessing you probably take a urine specimen for PSA.
So there's blood and a digital rectal exam for prostate screening.
Getting to know you.
Our breast screenings are clinical breast exams, and then mammography if appropriate, or whatever imaging is necessary for those. Skin is a visual exam, and then the colorectal test is actually something that you do at home. You come and get the kit from us, and then you complete it at home and mail it in.
It's the little talking box that we see on TV.
Similar. It's similar to that, but it is something you do at home.
But then you just send that to the lab, and the lab gets you your results.
And then we'll communicate your results back to you, and if there's a next step that needs to happen. Our patient navigation program is still happening, so that's where, if anything is abnormal, our navigator is going to make sure you get the follow-up that you need, stay in touch with you, and help you walk through the process. And I think that's important now, because healthcare looks a little bit different than it did before. And so she can really help you navigate that system, get those appointments, and make sure that you do it in a timely way.
Now, what's the average turnaround time on results?
7 to 10 days, but sometimes we're doing that same week.
Well, you're doing a lot of testing there. I mean, that's really a pretty quick turn.
Yeah, it is. But that's kind of everything that we're talking about: early detection, being able to get a timely diagnosis. And so it's important to us that if you came to us and heard, something doesn't seem quite right, that kind of raises your level of interest or maybe even anxiety in some cases as to what's going on. And so being able to help you work through that process quickly is important to us, so that one, if there is a cancer there, we can get you into treatment quickly. And if there's not, you can be relieved and move on to the next thing, and remember to come back and see us the next year.
Well, we're going to continue for one more segment with John A. But I want to before we go to the next break, let's give everybody the websites and the phone numbers.
Yes,
and
thank you.
If you know the schedule of when the mobiles are going out, let's do this now, and then we can do it again at the end.
Okay, so marybirdlake.org is where you would find us online. And then our phone number is so easy, 225-215-1234. Right now, calling us is the best way to find out where we're going to be, because we can direct you to what's going to be best and closest and has some availability. So 225-215-1234 gets you a direct connection to a person.
And I would imagine if you are screening somebody and they just moved here, or they've never really made a relationship with a primary care doctor, you can also give them a referral so that you've got somebody to send all these results to.
We can make them aware of what's available in the community, where they can go and where they can get established so that they can get that routine care that they need.
Are you all seeing, because you've been doing this for a lot of years, and are you all...
Well, not that many.
Well, I don't mean 50, but I mean at least 5 that I can think of. You all have been doing this, and probably more.
Yes.
But are you seeing people starting to get the message? In other words, does the wife drag her husband and say, I'm going to the screening, I'm going to get my mammogram, I'm going to have the dermatologist look at my skin, and you are going to do yours as well?
We have actually intentionally created some opportunities for families to come together. And so there are events that we have throughout the year that include multiple screening types, to where the family can come together and it doesn't feel so much like a drag, like you were kind of being drugged to something, but that is something to do together. And we even, in some of those instances, have opportunities to bring your children and things like that. And so we do find that it helps to make it something for everyone.
Well, and we, as we well know, you know, as I was told by a physician of long standing, he says, can you guess what brings a man to the doctor most often?
And his wife, with earlobe between thumb and knuckle.
His wife, his daughter, his significant other, somebody who cares about him, because he'll sit there and ignore that chest pain for weeks.
Yes, that is true.
Or that lump in his testicle.
We do need sometimes a push, and so we encourage people to do that.
Hell, some of us only want to change our oil once a year, so you know.
Well, I used to have a primary
health screening.
I used to have a primary care doctor who had fingers like baseball bats. It was like going to prison, so we would put that off. We will continue. Let that one germinate in your minds, folks. Yeah, we will continue with John A. Benjamin from Mary Bird Perkins Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center. Early detection screenings, which are a fabulous idea, are now back after the COVID crisis.
They can save your life.
Yeah, it will save your life if you've got something that's just marinating there. So stick around. We'll be back.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. I'm Kevin Gallagher. He is Bill Profita. And we're talking about early detection for cancers. 5 kinds of cancers. The nice lady in the center is John A. Benjamin. She is director of early detection programs for Mary Bird Perkins Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center. Now that phase 2 is hitting us, they're able to open up their mobile units, get out among us, and get those early detections done. That can save lives.
And again, they can screen for 5 prevalent types of cancer. Cancer that does interfere with people's lives, cancer that can be fatal, and this is something that you should always want to do. John, let's talk about some numbers.
Okay.
When you talk about catching cancers early, it makes the treatment much easier. The survival rate is much higher.
Yes.
In terms of like prostate cancers, just generally speaking, how many do you catch in these mobile screenings?
So throughout our program, we'll have about 70 to 100 of the different types of cancers that we find.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally, I shouldn't say naturally, but a lot of times we find more breast and skin cancers than we do prostate cancers. But with prostate cancer, we're able to find an abnormality early so that then you can get into a regular schedule of follow-up so that if it were to change or to become a cancer, you're already in the process of being followed for that. We talked about our patient navigator before that, and so we may have upwards of 25% of people who just have an abnormal finding, and so something that doesn't seem just right. And what that gives us the opportunity to do is to follow them closely. So maybe instead of coming back in a year, you may come back in 3 months or 6, and that gives us the chance to really get a handle on what's happening. And then some of those people, maybe 20 of them may go on to have a cancer diagnosis. One of the things I like to caution people about numbers is sometimes a number may seem small or large, but we can't forget that those people belong to someone. Those people belong to a community of people. And so that one cancer diagnosis has such a ripple effect in that person's personal and professional life. And so it's really important for us to be able to give that person the best chance that they have.
Well, the breast cancer survival rate has gone up tremendously because of early detection and mammography. So are you still catching a lot of breast cancers that you can get into treatment early?
We find some that we can get into treatment early, but unfortunately, we find some that are later stage. And so that doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing we can do, but there's more that has to go into that treatment. And so one of the things that's important, I think now especially, is that we really pay attention to our bodies. So much is changing and so much is happening, but really making sure that you're paying attention to little changes that you may think are nothing, but bring it to your doctor's attention. Let them take a look and find out and tell you, oh, that's fine, or tell you this is what this is and this is how we need to follow it. Because sometimes we may feel a lump, I think you mentioned, or something that doesn't seem quite right. Oh, that's nothing, or oh, I just worked out too much on that side, only to find out later that was the beginning of noticing something that really needed to be evaluated. And so we do diagnose cancer in our program. It's not something that you want to hear. You don't want to hear that diagnosis, but we are excited when we can find something early and send people into a treatment plan that's going to give them the best outcome.
What about skin cancer? We have a very high prevalence of skin cancer because we spend a lot of time in the blazing sun. A lot of us when we were kids would go to the beach and sit out there all day without anything on to block the sun.
A lot of us who don't.
Yeah.
Skin cancers touch my family, and we're not sun bunnies at my house.
No, you're not.
Skin cancer just seems to hit everybody.
So we are an outdoor community, but then we also don't always think about other times that we're in touch with the sun. And so some of us drive a lot. Some of us rest our arm on the same spot every day, headed in the same direction. That's some direct sunlight to this one place. And so sometimes you may even develop a cancer there. But then also remembering that sunscreen is for every day, not just when you're going to be outside. And so we do diagnose a significant number of skin cancers. And sometimes they're in places you don't think about. So your scalp. We did a program where we educated hairstylists on how to identify cancers. They may see your scalp way more than you do.
That's
so being
brilliant.
able to bring something like that to your attention, or between your fingers, just places you don't commonly think about. But we find people all the time who didn't know that spot was there. One of the good things about our program there is, so if we take it out, we can actually diagnose you with a precancer. So we can get it out before it becomes a cancer. And that's where that notion of early detection saves lives. Let us find it before it becomes a cancer, much like we do with colorectal cancer. If we can find a polyp before it's cancer, then we eliminate the problem. So
yeah, I know somebody who went in for a routine checkup, and their primary care doctor did a very thorough checkup and said, "Why do you keep grabbing your foot?" And something between their toes. Went to the dermatologist. It was a melanoma. They caught it very early.
Between the toes. Wow.
Between the toes, and didn't have to go through 2 years of radiation therapy. It was a fairly simple cure for a very deadly cancer.
Yes, and so sometimes the mole or the spot that we're worried about isn't the one that's the problem, but at least if you come, you may show the dermatologist, oh, look at this one, and they may say that one's fine, but oh, what about this one? We see that a lot of times. What you thought was a problem, maybe not, but there could be something else there, and that's why the screening is important, because that's going to be a full exam, not just the point that you were bringing to their attention.
I want to get all tacky and talk about dollars, because, I mean, this stuff costs money to do. Do you ask people to pay if they can?
We do not. Everything that we provide is at no charge, and that is because of the generosity of this community. Our program is funded through grants and philanthropy, and so we count on people understanding how important what we provide is, buying into our mission and what we're doing, and that we're really just there to save lives if we can, and then them being generous enough to give to our program so that we can provide it at no cost to people in our community.
That's wonderful.
Well, that is so in line with the mission of Mary Bird Perkins when it was a standalone entity, and with Our Lady of the Lake, that no one is ever turned away for the ability to pay.
No, so for us, we want to be able to treat your cancer. That is, we want to, in my case, we want to find it as early as we can if it's there, and then get you on your way to treatment and re-entering your new normal as a cancer survivor. And so what's important to us is to be able to do that. And so we are grateful that we are in a community that recognizes how important that is.
I have to ask this because I'm thinking we will have another interview at this very place at another time. I know you all do research at both Our Lady of the Lake and Mary Bird, so you certainly do it at the Combined Cancer Center. Have you all followed early screening detections in your programs for outcomes where you can talk about, this many good outcomes were caught over the last 5 years or however long it's been because of early detection.
We do. We look at survival of patients who have been diagnosed, but one of the other things we look at is how often are we finding a cancer early? And we've seen a shift in our program to where when it first started, we found more stage 3 and 4 cancers, and now we're shifting into that more finding stage 1s and 2s. And so that means that not just our service, but our message is getting out there, and people are understanding the importance of coming to see us and doing so regularly.
Well, you will have mobile units out, but also you can do the screenings at the brick and mortar facilities, right?
The screenings are only from our mobile medical clinic, but
I
if you
misunderstood.
call us, we can direct you to what will be closest to you or what we have availability for, since now we are by appointment, which may be a little bit different, and we are trying to maintain social distancing, and so giving us a call helps us to fit you into the right place.
Then you have 2 units. One works out of the Baton Rouge area.
We do, so we cover 18 parishes, and we have 2 units that we use to reach each of those. And so we have a unit that covers our Bayou area and North Shore area, North Shore of New Orleans, as well as Greater Baton Rouge. So give us a call. If you are hearing me, that means you can call and we can schedule.
Let's give them the numbers again.
225-215-1234. Or you can always go to marybirdlake.org. But giving us a call is what we want.
And please remember, Mary Bird Perkins Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center is designed to be a regional cancer diagnosis, research, and treatment center, and they are in fact world-renowned. So if you're watching us, say in Slidell right now, don't think that this is not for you, because they draw patients from all over South Louisiana, and they will be happy to see you. Just give them a call, 225-215-1234. So easy, I can even remember it in my feeble mental state.
But the important message is, with COVID-19 fading away, we hope there's no second wave, but phase 2 of the reopening is about to begin, so it's time to start thinking about getting those annual screenings. Absolutely free. There's no reason not to do it.
And for all you guys that are going to sit there and say, I don't want to, all they want to do is test you out there and then send you to the hospital for that colonoscopy. Wrong. If you get a clean bill of health, they're going to say come back again next year, or how old are you? Maybe you should have a screening colonoscopy. Mm-hmm. This is not a pipeline to inpatient care. This is to try to find things early to keep you out of inpatient care.
But on the other hand, if you are sick, don't you want to know?
Yeah.
If you've got a cancer growing in part of you, don't you want to know? Don't you want to know as fast as you can and get it out and get on the road to recovery? I think so.
Well, and again, you've got recalcitrant males that won't go, but maybe their wives and daughters and sisters will drag them kicking and screaming. And
well, I hear a lot of guys say this stuff too. I ain't afraid to die. It's like, well, okay, great, good for you. But your family is not ready for you to die.
Yeah, there's a bigger effect just on you. John A. Benjamin with
God bless you. Thank you for
Mary
coming.
Bird Perkins Our Lady of the Lake Cancer Center, mobile screening starting up again. Call the number so you can get an appointment, 225-215-1234. John A., come back and see us again.
Thank you, I will.
We'll be back with more on Exiles TV. Stick around.
Thank you.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology, which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. In our next hour, we're going to get Leo Honeycutt on, talk about what they're doing at the legislature, or what they think they're doing at the legislature. And then former Police Chief Pat Englade, who now heads the Capital Area Law Enforcement Foundation, has asked Kevin and I, and we have agreed to help host some discussions about the racial divide when it comes to policing and when it comes to each of us. And we're going to try to do it in a very different way because we want to involve you as non-experts along with the experts to get your honest feelings about this.
Yeah, we all see these panel discussions where you might get a former police chief or a mayor or something. And it's good to have community leaders involved in these things. But I think far too seldom do we actually ask for regular people to get involved in the discussion, because regular people sometimes can have the very best of ideas. And that's the theme of this thing. Right now, everyone is upset about George Floyd, and everyone says something needs to be done. But so far, I haven't heard anybody say what needs to be done. It's time to start throwing some ideas out there and discussing, well, is this something we can do? Is it something, let's hear the ideas and let's talk about them.
Well, I want to talk to real people that maybe don't sense racism, but maybe they are afraid of police for different reasons.
Yeah, I know plenty of white people that are scared of the cops.
Yeah, I want to talk to cops to see if they're afraid that people are judging them by what these people in Minneapolis did. So we've got room for everybody. We're going to fill you in. We're going to take some time with Pat and ask you if you want to volunteer to participate. And then we're going to set up a series. Right now, we're not volunteering for Tropical Storm Cristobal, but oh goodness, this thing can't make up its mind. But this is the latest update.
I'm kind of glad it's spending some time over the hills of the Yucatan, because that's weakening the storm.
Yeah, in fact, it is down to 40 miles an hour right now. But they are still saying that a U.S. landfall is expected by Monday. This thing is moving so slowly right now. It could stay. It could stay in the Campeche Bay area overland for yet another 18 hours, okay?
But then when it starts to move north, and they do expect it to start to move north, it'll, of course, pick up speed, and they expect less than 48 hours to cross the Gulf of Mexico, and the center of the cone of probability is due south of Baton Rouge.
Yeah, the borders of the cone right now are the Bolivar Peninsula in Texas, which is east of Galveston, and Goche, Mississippi. So they're narrowing that cone of probability as we speak.
But it's still pretty broad from Dallas to Goshen, Mississippi.
And they're now saying that it will make landfall as either a strong tropical storm or barely a Category 1 hurricane. They are also saying, as far as the rain, everybody's pretty much agreeing that coastal Mississippi will probably get the most of the rainfall for this. The Baton Rouge area is still going to get extensive rainfall. As far as Acadiana, not so much. The New Orleans area is probably going to get a lot of rainfall as well. So, again, we're going to keep an eye on this, and you should keep an eye on this as well. And it is rare that we have this kind of lag time before something actually gets into the Gulf. Usually, boom, it pops up. This thing is actually turning circles right now, on the Mexican peninsula.
Yes.
It has made 3 transverse trips.
Yeah, it's getting jiggy with it, round and round and round.
The physics of it kind of baffle me, that it can actually make that many turns and not blow itself out. But this is the time that you can make whatever preparations you need to make. And I'm not going to tell you, go through the list. You should know what the list is. If you don't, go to getagameplan.com, which is the GOSEP site that will give you all the different check marks. But you know what people forget to do, Kevin? They forget to get actual cash money in their pockets.
Right.
Because
systems that take credit cards will probably not be working if there's a major power outage.
That's right. Or even if the power outage comes and goes, they may not be booted up just yet.
Right.
So you need some cash. And think about your prescription meds that you take every single day.
Yep.
All the pharmacies, if they're not due to be renewed until next, Monday, they'll renew them today. Trust me, with this coming. And your animals. Go get your dog food, your cat food, your litter box stuff.
Right.
Everybody worries about being able to see, so they get their lanterns and their batteries and they get their generators and all that.
Joe, I see some people forget to get food. Assume that you may need to be holed up. Now, this is a tropical storm that's probably going to hit us, probably not a hurricane by the time. Even if it makes landfall as a weak hurricane, it'll probably be a TS by the time it gets inland to the capital region. So unless I'm talking to you down in the coastal parishes, I'd say maybe 24 hours without power, maybe 48 at the worst. What I'm worried about with Cristobal is rain. Not so long ago here in the capital region, we had it wasn't even a tropical storm, it was just a bad thunder shower that decided that it liked Baton Rouge, so it was going to park here for 36 hours.
Yeah.
And we got a little over 16 inches of rain. This is 2016, August, the August flood that we all talk about. We got something like 16 inches of rain in 10 hours in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and drainage ditches just wouldn't take it.
Well, and they are predicting some rainfall now, as well as predicting some wind. I'm looking at a model that shows it hitting the east side of the cone with a direct hit. And we would still have a 10-12 split, a wind forecast calling for sustained winds of about 32 miles an hour, which means we'd probably have peaks 10 miles more than that. Now, they do show sustained winds of up to 50 miles an hour, but not in this area and not west of Baton Rouge. East of Baton Rouge, yeah. And there is a rain forecast that also shows a flood watch basically from about where Point Capee Parish starts all the way down through Terrebonne Parish, Houma, Thibodaux, all those areas, and all the way to Mobile Bay.
Yep.
So this is something you're going to want to keep aware of. And
let's just say that Monday, Tuesday, and maybe even into Wednesday is going to be an interesting time.
Well, this thing meandering around very slowly over land bothers me. We don't want this thing...
What if it does the same thing once it makes landfall here?
We don't want this thing sitting on us.
Right. that is my deep concern.
But the more time it spends, and as you pointed out, that's a mountainous region where it is right now. The more time it spends there, it may tear itself up.
Well, the worst things could happen.
With me.
Worst things could happen. Then this thing fizzles out before it begins to cross the Gulf. I will sing hallelujah and dance a little Irish jig. But I think it's better to be prepared. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take inventory of everything I might need to run on batteries, which is my radio, and I have several lanterns that run on batteries, and I'll make sure that I have plenty of those, the different kinds of batteries I need. I'm going to stock up on non-perishable foods to last me about a week. I'm going to make sure that I've got fuel for my generator and that my generator will start at an easy crank, and my meds are pretty well settled in. We got that taken care of. But that's about all I can think of to do.
I'm down to porn and booze. I got everything else.
Probably going to get a little extra gas in a can for the cars, just in case for some reason you can't get gas at a gas station.
Yeah. But anyway, do make that ATM run. Don't forget, go get yourself some cash. Cash is always your friend in times like this. We'll be back with more on Exiles TV. Hi, Leo.
Cash is your friend.
All right. I need to take a coffee break and relieve myself of some.
Are we still live?
Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bellello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hey, welcome back to Exiles TV. So glad to have you. He's not here. He's come. He's saying, yeah, I'm coming, damn it. Keep your trousers on. Bill Profita joining us. Hey, better late than never, I always say.
I was social distancing.
I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on a subject that is polar. It's today's latest. Let's bitch at each other on Facebook and Twitter over. Drew Brees on, I think, YouTube, or it might have been on his Facebook. I don't know.
It was Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah. But Drew Brees just basically said, "I'm sorry, I got no time for people who protest the flag or the anthem. He's a patriot. It's just the way he feels."
Well, and he didn't even say it that directly. He said, "I am not going to do anything that shows disrespect for the flag."
So everybody's all the woke-de-wokes out there that feel like they've got to take a hard position on things in America. Drew, man, don't you understand why they're taking that knee? It's like, I understand why you're upset, but I understand why people are upset, and I also I support their right to take that knee if they want to, et cetera, but that doesn't mean I have to like it or take part. And so I'm right there with Drew. And everybody's down, everybody's hating on Drew now. Now, today, Dak Prescott, Dallas, says the same thing.
As Drew?
The exact, yeah, it says this basically the same thing. Dak Prescott says, I don't like it. His words, I don't think it's the time or the venue to do so. He's talking about protests during the national anthem.
Well, really, this only comes down to one question. And it was the same single question when Colin Kaepernick did it, 3 seasons ago?
It's been longer than that, I think.
It comes down to one question and one question only. Do you support everyone's rights under the Constitution equally?
Or do you only support the rights of those you agree with?
Exactly. So, and there are people that saying, well, he should be more sensitive. You know what? Maybe he should. But that's not for other people to say, and it's certainly not written into his contract. And you do not get to stand on a bully pulpit and say, you're very insensitive because you don't do what I do. Now, you're insensitive if you say, I don't see what all the fuss is about. Everybody needs to mind their own business and those cops will take care of themselves. That's insensitive. But if you want people to support your right to take a knee, then you have to support Dak Prescott and Drew Brees and anybody else's right not to.
Right.
And I get a feeling that this is something, at least in Drew Brees, that runs very deep, that he thinks it's important for him to stand during the national anthem. Now, he did not say, I think the other people that take a knee are wrong. He never said that.
Said he's not going to take part.
Yeah, he said he will not take part in anything that disrespects the flag.
As of this morning, he's walked it back somewhat to apologize to those that got their nose out of joint. He still didn't say he'd take part, but he says he didn't mean to criticize them for exercising their constitutional right to do so.
But,
he's very smart, Drew Brees, and he understands that some of the people that are upset with him this morning are people that would be his front line in a football game.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, I think one of the problems we have, and the problem we'll have going forward having discussions about this, is this almost imperative that everyone needs to share the other person's sensitivities to the exclusion of their own. And to me, that creates more conflict.
It sure does.
Now, if all these people on the Saints, I heard from 2 Saints players today, if they really believe that Drew Brees does not love them, doesn't care about them, doesn't care that they're hurting by this, then they should come out and say that. But you know what? I don't think they do believe that. So they're parsing words and they're saying he should have not said the opposite of what they're saying when they take a knee. And that's how you never get to a proper resolution where everybody feels good about working together to solve a problem.
This used to be a country where we could agree to disagree and still have some level of respect and love and admiration for one another. But now it's becoming more and more polar.
Well, everybody's reading everything into it. I had somebody say to me, well, if you don't make a public statement about this, you're part of the problem. I said, well, Kevin and I have both made public statements about this and will probably continue to do so.
Yeah, probably too many public statements.
But I also disagree with your saying if I choose to remain silent for now or forever, that I am part of the problem. That's a real leap. And you know what? It's a leap that's meant to be provocative and combative. And that is part of the problem.
We're going to revisit this topic and the atmosphere around it in the latter part of the program. Up next, though, we're going to chat with Leo Honeycutt. What's going on in the big pointy building in Baton Rouge? Does anybody know? Actually, no.
Do we care?
Exiles TV returns in just moments here. Stay by.
Hi, Pat.
Hello, Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hey, I'm here. I'm actually on the set. Welcome back to Exiles TV.
How was it, by the way?
That water's cold, and it's deep, too.
He's Bill. I'm Kevin. Joining us for a few minutes is our good friend, journalist, author, and all-around smart guy, Leo Honeycutt.
What a build-up. All-around smart guy, yeah.
Well, you are a smart guy, man.
Yeah, let's test that out.
Yeah, right. Well, I was down at the legislature yesterday, and it still amazes me that they're telling everybody else to wear masks, and half of them aren't. So
I gotta inject this. The other day, I was watching part of the legislature, and Karen Carter Peterson's on the Senate floor, and she's wearing eye protection. What? She's not wearing a mask. It's not even like underneath her chin like some people. She's wearing eye protection, like she's gonna trim the hedges or something.
Is she sitting next to a spitter?
I was just at a loss. It's like, is somebody going to like shoot, paintballs at you? Or are you afraid of that?
Well, she's been busy. She got Ronnie Jones off the.
Yeah, she did.
She got a couple. How many of those appointments were from people in her district?
I don't know, honestly.
Because I know of another one that lives in her district that was just appointed to the pesticide board and got bounced.
Yeah, I don't know, but it shows you that there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes constantly.
That's one of the dumbest rules, is that I can, if someone lives in my district, I can, without any reason at all, have them removed from a board or commission. That's ridiculous.
I just don't like his face.
Yeah.
Well, it goes to show you the extreme independence now the legislature enjoys, though at different times they say we don't really have any independence. We have to take the lead from the governor's office, and that's just really not true anymore. So, I mean, we have a bunch of budget bills right now that everything that they passed that led up to midnight before they turned around and convened the special session, all that's got to be redone. All of it. They've got till June 30, which of course is the last day of the state fiscal session.
Law
Fiscal
says they've
year.
got to have a balanced budget in place.
Yeah, well, they were supposed to have one, June 1st. Well, now they've got to take all the
But
bills.
they keep so close.
Right. Well, it's like, well,
It's
okay,
like horseshoes.
we have it passed, so now we can all go home and come back in 6 hours. But now they've got to go back over each one. All those bills have got to be redone, all of them.
Now,
so was the regular session, was it a waste? Was anything accomplished?
Well, if you read Mark Ballard's article about how they all got paid on the per diem when they weren't there, then there's a lot of people there's a hue and cry like, maybe you need to bring that money back because you weren't there.
well, I think we have a state cat. I think that made it through.
We have a state cat
I think
now?
we have the official state cat.
Yeah, what is it? It's got to be the tiger at LSU, right?
No,
It's got to be Mike?
No, it's not.
It's not. That's not the
Mr.
state
Boots,
cat?
he lives with a school teacher in Lake Charles.
It's a variety. It's a variety of cat. It's a breed. It's a type.
So it's a mixed breed.
These important things that they do, yes.
Oh, okay.
They did manage
It's
to.
a diversity cat.
That's the one. What can we agree on? State cat. And that's where they get all the majority.
They did manage to get their tort reform bill through and to the governor's desk, but
To a
it seems
degree.
like neither side likes the bill.
That's right, because they saddled it with so many amendments and so many changes that now, if you read it a certain way, the attorneys, the personal injury attorneys, can actually sue for more. The whole idea behind the thing was to ratchet in these big settlements and to try to get lower insurance rates.
Well,
now,
they were trying to lower the threshold for a jury trial.
right.
Did they do that?
I don't think they did. I think this whole thing is in such a nebulous area right now. Nobody knows who's on first. Nobody does.
So we are in the special now by 3 days, right? We're 3 days in.
2.
2 days in.
Well, yeah.
And everything, including these bills, anything of substance didn't get done in the regular session.
True.
Now, is everybody present for the special? Do we have any refuseniks like Ted? Ted James
No,
didn't
Ted
want to
showed
go?
up.
Well, Ted wound up showing up.
Okay.
He just
Yeah.
took a
Came
few
in.
days off until
Yeah.
he felt better.
Yeah, he's all right. He came in. And I think everybody's trying to do their best. There are a lot of people who are wearing masks, because they do want to make sure that they're trying to, if they're going to preach it, then they're going to do it. But you have a lot of renegades and rebels down there who say, you're not going to tell me what to do. And of course, that transmits to the rest of the state. Well, you're not going to tell me what to do.
I'm sorry, I'm a butthole. I'm in the rebel renegade category.
Unless you live in my district and you want to eat up legislative time making the state soybean the Richland Parish red. In that case, one of your constituents can tell you exactly what to do, and you will duck walk it through that session come hell or high water. See, that's my problem with the legislature.
So,
is they let people
burn up time.
Yeah,
I know.
with this happy horse, what.
But it's the one area where the lawmakers can all get together and say, yeah, we can like that. Okay, well, I don't like you for liking that, and they can hold arms and they can sing Kumbaya. But that's so rare that they jump on opportunities like that, and they do spend an inordinate amount of time doing that. But they always have, Bill. They always have.
Well, is it still the environment where they can shout, epithets at one another on the floor and then be drinking cocktails together 2 hours later?
Well, that was 30 years ago.
Well, it's not like that anymore.
Well, that was all part of the theater.
Yeah, that was. It really was.
It was all part of the theater.
Now, I haven't seen many headlines about any, what we used to call fireworks in the newsroom, in many committee rooms or on the floor. Has there been any significant fireworks?
Honestly, I have not been to a committee hearing since week before last. I think it was when I was down there for, it was this bill. Miguez had put forth a bill that was going to strip power away from the governor in emergency situations, so that they could start going back, so they could, so the legislature itself could start phase 2 earlier than what the governor wanted to do, which was based off what the White House wanted to do. And so they were in there for over 5 hours discussing that bill, which would have ostensibly, it looked good because it was trying to help small businesses, but the ramifications for it on down the line would be that a governor could not call a special session. I mean, could not call an emergency and say, okay, this is what we got to do.
Without the legislature.
Without getting 144 people on board at the same time.
Right. That's why we have a governor.
Right.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's why we have a governor.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to take a few more minutes with Leo, and then we're going to switch gears and talk about the discussion we all want to have. We're going to see how many of you want to have it with us. Chief Pat Anglade from Capital Area Law Enforcement Foundation will join us. But Leo, stick around. We've got some more probing questions for you. Like
probing. Okay.
Did you actually pay for that shirt?
Yes.
Kidding.
Right.
We'll be back in a moment on Exiles TV.
You know,
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. A few more minutes with Leo Honeycutt, talking about what's going on at the Capitol. And, you know, they certainly, I know that they have TV monitors all over the place in the Capitol. I'm sure that they're keeping an eye on this weather situation. Are they going, oh boy, this could be really bad with everything else we got going? Or are they going, whoo, we could be gone for a few days and not have to do this?
They might be frothing at the mouth for that. Yes, they might be. But at some point, somebody's got to do something. Because with the fiscal year ending, winding up in about another, 20 days, 25 days, this state, people have to get paychecks. I mean, we got, 40,000 employees? I mean, somebody's got to get paid. Somebody's got to do payroll at least.
Is there an emergency provision like they have in the federal government where they can just extend government for a month while they get their act together?
Well, I'm sure it has to be, because otherwise, literally, it would shut down. I mean, I really don't know that for sure, but I'm sure something in the Constitution has to. I mean, let's say there was something catastrophic that hit, and
like COVID?
Well, like COVID, or folks, I don't like to bring this up too often, but in 1962, Baton Rouge was one of the major targets for a nuclear hit from the Russians, and that's the reason why Jack Kennedy ran them out of Cuba, because those missiles could have been in Baton Rouge within 12 minutes.
We were targeted for 33, by the way.
See?
In the Baton Rouge area.
So that would probably disrupt the legislature.
Well, it's nice that we were getting the attention.
Yeah.
Try to look at it positively, gents.
But it wasn't about us. It was about 2 universities, big petrochemical complex.
Of course.
Only way across the river in South
Mississippi,
Louisiana, state of government, that kind of thing.
Leo, educate me. Help me understand. So did they let time run out with no passed House Bill 1, or did they pass a House Bill 1 that has
They passed a
problems?
version. They passed a version that did have problems, and that's why they're having to shake it all down and redo all the bills. They're
Okay,
having to redo all of the bills.
All the major money bills, capital outlay, all of those, right?
And let's don't forget that we also aren't real sure about what the income's going to be. Because the last 2 quarters of the fiscal year happened during COVID.
Armed with incomplete fiscal data, how can they pass a budget?
Yeah, really.
But they do it every year, because the Revenue Estimating Committee that has met once, but they're still not real sure. But they do that every year. They come back and they say,
Advil.
And wait, you do remember that historically, as we got toward the end of a session every year, that under Bobby Jindal and his all the way back to Mike Foster, somehow out of the clear blue yonder, $300 million around that would drop
Wink
out
and
of the
Blink
sky.
and Nod showed up the day before, and we have $330 million that we didn't know we had. Was it in your sock drawer? How could you not know you have $330 million?
Glad you understand sock drawer.
I know that's the way it goes, gentlemen. That's the legislative process, and you got everybody trying to get one little or big, huge piece of the pie.
So
it is.
With all that in mind, what is their measure of success in this special session?
Keeping the doors open.
Were good.
So they just hope that they can glean enough fiscal information to pass a budget that will enable government to continue to run.
That's right. That's right. And also at the same time, there is a legislative contingent that's very conservative, and they want to cut. They've been wanting to cut for decades now.
They've been needing to cut.
Well, there you go.
But Jindal claims
there's no
he
reason
did
why a
cut.
state our size needs a $31 billion budget. States of our population get along on 17 easily. I mean, we run fat in Louisiana, and we do it mostly on federal money.
And now you have just said what the opposition says to bringing to close this session for a balanced budget.
But here's the thing that I see.
Mm-hmm.
In the areas that most of these people believe could be cut, they are not going to get cut. The areas that most of the people believe should be cut are the ones that will not get cut.
That's right.
No, the things that are going to cause people pain, and I mean people, street level people, that's what will get cut.
No, the free stuff programs are not going to get cut because it's political suicide with the way the legislative districts are put together. The free stuff people the federal auditor.
Be careful now.
The federal auditor says we have more than 23% fraud conservatively in Medicaid. You're not going to cut DH by that amount of presumed fraud in Medicaid. You're not. You want to know why? Because there are a lot of people that say, I'm not going to get reelected if they cut there.
Mm-hmm. I guess the big mystery right now is how much money we're going to get from Uncle Sam for COVID-19.
Well, right now that's $1.8 billion.
Okay, and
we've spent about half that.
Right. So
and it all has to be related to
the budget
COVID
deficit
expenses.
is roughly $1 billion, right?
Well, that's right, but still, the federal government is holding out for. We gave this money to you for COVID expenses,
Not to balance your budget.
not to balance, specifically not to balance your budgets. But states like Wyoming, Idaho, and some other places up in the West where they have a small population that had almost no COVID are all begging to be able to use that money to shore up the money they lost economically from all the tourists that come through there. Now, I'm sure they have some tourism up there, but is it really? And they got $1.25 billion.
Oh yeah, people I know want to go to Wyoming for their vacation.
Well, hell, they gave.
You got the Grand Canyon and
Wyoming.
You
No,
got nothing.
that's Nevada.
Well, it stretches into Wyoming.
Yeah, they gave the second largest passenger airport in this state, Baton Rouge Airport, $8.2 million because of the COVID disaster. They gave Lake Charles, which only carries 10% of the passenger traffic of a Baton Rouge, $21.5 million. Figure that one out.
I don't have. How do you explain that?
I don't know.
It has to be who you know?
No, there's some formula. Lake Charles has got very little air traffic, but they have got a huge maintenance.
I didn't know they had an airport.
They have a huge maintenance facility, and they have a gigantic.
Are we talking Chenault? Is that their airport?
They have a gigantic runway, which used to be a relief runway for the space shuttle. So should something happen over Texas that's survivable, unlike the last time, and they could put it down there. But there are national defense implications for making sure the Lake Charles Airport is healthy, wealthy, and wise.
But 21 as compared to 8 in Baton Rouge
And
that has a healthy.
Baton Rouge is the #2 air carrier airport behind Louis Armstrong International.
Right.
It carries more people than Shreveport.
Right.
More than Monroe, more than Alexandria, more than Lafayette. And I think actually, I think Lake Charles is second from the bottom in passenger traffic. But yeah, but the point is, the way the feds dole out this money and tell you what they can do with it is like throwing darts at a board.
Right.
From a long way off sometimes.
Our tax dollars at work.
Yeah. So, Leo, is there a declared number of days on this special session? Is there?
Yes, they have to end on the 30th.
Oh, so they've just given themselves the entire. I know sometimes specials are 10 days.
They just pushed it. I know. They just pushed it 30 days
to the very last
they pushed
damned minute.
To the last minute for the fiscal year. Yes.
You know what? It's a shame they don't have to do a graphic logo for every special session, because this one would be Wile E. Coyote with the box that says TNT and a handle.
Wouldn't it be great if it was like a mission patch, like NASA?
Yeah.
Special session number 11.
Yeah, I mean, this one would be the Roadrunner, sticking his tongue out at Wile E. Coyote, and he's got the big plunger over the TNT box.
Right. Now, we do have to remember that because of term limits, that we have a pretty new crop of lawmakers in there, and they do want to do the right thing, and they're, some people would say, green behind the ears. So they don't quite know how to navigate the committees and how to navigate the personalities, like John Alario did after 40 years, and Sammy Nunez before him, and now you've got Francis Thompson that's still down there. As now the longest serving legislator in Louisiana history.
Yeah, Mr. Haney.
And where's he from? Delhi.
Delhi.
They got a big.
Does he not sound like Mr. Haney from Green Acres to you?
They have a big plaque
I love that guy.
at Delhi. It's right in the center of the town. It said, "Nothing important ever happened here." This is our leadership, folks.
I have friends in Delhi.
And they agree. Nothing important ever happened there.
Well, but be that as it may, we just have, it's not only a learning legislative process for all these guys and ladies to come up to speed on the learning curve, but they're doing it at a time for COVID, which is unprecedented. They're doing it at a time when we've lost tremendous amounts of revenue, and that's true, and doing it at a time when the federal government is flushing money through us. And which has saved us in years past with Katrina, with the BP oil spill. I mean, we've been bailed out by the government a lot in the last 15, 20 years, and here we are again. And so that sort of has covered over the fact that we have not really managed our finances very well here, and I'm not sure how long that can keep going. And I'm not sure that we want to keep surviving these catastrophes year after year after year. I mean, like, this governor has really had a lot to do.
We really ought to elect Blanche Dupois because she could say, I've always relied on the kindness of strangers. That seems to be the plan.
Yeah, but she went nuts to do that.
Well.
Okay, all right, Bill. Okay.
Well, Leo Honeycutt, always glad to have you with us.
Well, it's good to see y'all.
And to get your perspectives.
What are you working on? You got a book in progress or anything like that?
Well, actually I am, but I'm also going to be spending, I guess, this weekend working with AccuWeather Channel. So if you see me on a flagpole holding on and flapping in the wind, that'll be me.
This won't be the first time you've had to do that, will it?
No, we've been doing hurricanes since the 80s and 90s. So, but back then we had satellite trucks. Now you can do a live shot with this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you can get the tower signal.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out if that works.
Leo, a pleasure to have you, and we will be watching you on AccuWeather, and we may call you up while you're live just to see how it's going. We will be back after a brief break. When we come back, we're going to have a serious conversation about starting some serious conversations on race and cops and how we feel, and hopefully get some people involved to help all of us not just come to understanding, but come to looking at some probable solutions for the problem with former BRPD Chief Pat Anglade. So stick around for Exiles TV.
Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Belello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
State Treasurer John Schroeder, encouraging you to visit latreasury.com to search for your unclaimed property money. During this pandemic, we've returned money to businesses, local governments, and people across Louisiana.
New Orleans Habitat for Humanity found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Treasury.
Audubon Nature Institute has unclaimed property.
I found unclaimed property with the Louisiana Department of Treasury.
We still have over $800 million. This is your money. Claim it.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hey, welcome back. It's Exiles TV. He's Bill Profita. I am Kevin Gallagher. And joining us right now, once again on the program, is our good friend Pat Englade, former police chief here in Baton Rouge. And he's now the head and founder of CALIF, the Capital Area Law Enforcement Foundation. CALIF's mission is to make sure that there is ballistic body armor on every cop that they can possibly put one on. And no real limits to the boundaries on that, but it does say capital area. But what we're going to talk about with Pat is something. Pat got this started with us just via some text messaging. Right now we're watching America tearing itself apart once again. And once again it's because a black man died at the hands of police who didn't look like him, and it's brought up discussion and anguish and anger about policing and about race in our community. Pat suggested maybe it's time that we started having some serious conversations about this with people of all shapes and sizes and colors. Pat, thanks for joining us.
Sure. Honest conversation.
Honest conversations, and some rules there need to be some ground rules too.
Yes.
But let's talk about it. Who would you like to see involved in this?
Somebody that's not mad, somebody that's thought about this, and potentially somebody that has what they think may be solutions to the problem. Until you start communicating, I've never seen, we'd mentioned this before, we'd talked about this, I've never seen as much communication that we have available to us and the lack of us communicating between each other. It makes no sense.
Well, we bark our ideals at each other on social media.
Well, we scream it all over Facebook how we need to solve this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who's going to jump up and let's solve it?
Well, and more importantly, as you pointed out, who is the we? You know, in your first text message, you said that every police officer in the United States is being painted as the devil now because of bad police officers who took a man's life when it didn't have to be taken. They weren't defending themselves or anybody else. And you said it's time we got people together. And I got the impression from what you said, not just experts on police and law, but experts from ordinary citizens' point of view. In other words, people like you and I. That's why we're asking for volunteers
Or
to do
people
this.
that live in these communities that have to deal with police every day.
Mm-hmm.
And what do they feel needs to be happening in their community to make this better?
Well, what we want to do, and if you listen to our podcast, I'm sorry that this is redundant, but we are going to invite some folks from the spiritual community. We're going to invite some people from the legal community. We're going to invite some people from police. And then we're going to invite all of you as volunteers. We're going to have a series of these, both on television and on our Facebook Live podcast, where we'll probably have panels of 4 or 5. And the only ground rule is that this is not to be taken as a joke, that this is come and tell us in a non-confrontational manner.
Yeah, let's all talk like adults.
How you think we can affect a solution. And if you disagree, that's fine, as long as you're not disagreeable about the way you disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yes.
And I think any idea should be heard, even if it's, in some cases I can imagine where some ideas might be, well, I'm sorry, but the U.S. Constitution won't let that happen.
Exactly.
There are some that you've just got to rule out that I'm sure some people would like, but we do have laws in this land. But still, I think that everybody that has an idea deserves to be heard. But like Pat said, we keep hearing something's got to be done. What? What are your ideas? What would make it better? What might prevent this from ever happening again? I mean, could it be as simple as when you're training new cops, you say, hey, keep your knee off the guy's neck? I mean, things like that.
Well, do we want more where you know the police officers that are in your community? Community policing is a lovely term, and it's very, very broad, but I mean, would you like to have a personal relationship with the same group of officers, male and female, black and white, that are going to be on patrol in your neighborhood as a matter of routine? You know, would you like that? And would you like people like us to feel a little more of the anxiety and the pain? Because I really do think that if you're white, particularly if you're a white male, you don't ever get to experience the anxiety that a young black male gets to experience. And I think we probably need it explained to us a little better.
Educating people is important from a police perspective. I saw something was posted Facebook, or somebody had sent it on the internet somewhere, and it was recommendations that people had put up already. These are the things we think the police need to be doing. Mm-hmm. Well, just about everyone, we're already doing it. We were doing them 15 years ago. People just don't know that for sure. And so to assume that everybody's in the same boat is unfair, obviously. Not everybody. Look, do you ask the question when somebody says, I want to be a police officer in the city of Baton Rouge, Chief, I want to work for you. Is my question to them going to be, do you want to kill black people?
No, you don't ask that
question. It's a stupid question because nobody in the police world wants to kill anybody. It's ridiculous to even have that. You know, there's something in the wind right now about rogue policemen, and they're out to mistreat everybody. And that's probably the furthest thing from the truth that you'll find. Everybody knows what you're going to go through if you have to get into a situation like this. And everybody does everything they can to avoid it, except maybe in Minnesota. I'm still stuck in the mud on that one.
Well, and early in the program, in our first hour, Bill voiced disappointment with what went on in New York City, of all places.
The largest police department in this country.
It was a peaceful demonstration right up until curfew. And the moment that the hour of curfew arrived, the police escalated the situation by beginning to forcibly round people up and chase them away as they were leaving. And as Bill said, I didn't see the footage, but Bill said you could see rage on faces with badges. You could see rage on their faces. It's like, what, you know, to me, curfew, let's say curfew's 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock is last call. And it needs to be, you need to give people a reasonable amount of time to disperse. Not, you know, if you're still standing here, when that clock strikes 10, out comes the water cannon. These are the sorts of practices that I think chiefs across the country need to give a little bit more attention to, or watch commanders. I don't know who makes the call on the use of force on a crowd.
We also need to understand that what I saw was the point of view of 3 cameras. There were probably 300 cameras.
Right.
What we also need to understand is the situation that the mayors and the police officers who are there face, and how easy it is to have a directive that turns into a confrontation. I am sure the commander, and I had a good picture of him, he was a captain. I am sure he was told, you protect the demonstrators as long as they're peaceful, but when curfew comes, it's got to be over. Now, does he say, okay, curfew plus 10 or 15 for everybody to say their goodbyes? Or does he say what I saw in the wide shot, at the stroke of whatever the curfew hour was, I think it was 9, the visors all came down as if pulled by one hand, the batons all came to port arms, and they started pushing people. And then people started to run saying, I'm leaving, and a number of officers, including a supervisor in a white shirt, pursued these people, throwing them to the ground, and the people were screaming, I'm leaving. And one of them yelled, after he put a guy into a fence and then roundhoused him, he said, get that out of here. The thing we have to do, I think, is find a way so that police feel comfortable with those they are sworn to serve and protect, and those that are being served and protected find a way to be comfortable and not anxious and not fearful of police. And then we need to talk about...
Police are just people, though.
We need to talk about the racial element.
It's hard. First of all, if you've got a crowd gathered already, and then you say we got a curfew, you almost say we want to have a curfew, and then if you come out, we're going to make you go away. Once you gather that crowd, it's almost impossible to disperse that unless you use some kind of force. It's not going to move. I mean, a curfew is designed for people to be warned ahead of time that this is going to happen, and hopefully people will not come out, and it can go smoothly.
See, it occurred to me that somebody in charge at the scene could have been on the bullhorn saying, "Folks, we're about 30 minutes from curfew."
That's absolutely what they should have been doing.
So start getting your stuff together. We're going to have to ask you to get off the street here within the next 30 minutes. We'll see you tomorrow night if you want to, but you're going to have to go home.
You also have to, and this is important too, you've got these cities now, and the major, New York being one, even though they've got 35,000, 40,000 police officers, you got these guys wearing down now. They've been doing this for over a week now. They're probably working at least 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
They're tired. They're aggravated. It's a bad recipe for disaster here that we've got going on, that everybody's feeling this thing's getting ready to bubble up because everybody's aggravated. Now, somebody's got to be calm at some point and make calm decisions.
Well, and we got a break here, but I wish that captain had taken a page out of your book. I've heard you say it 3 times. You used to tell your officers, you can either make a friend or have a fight. If he had stepped around that barricade and talked to the organizer and said, curfew time, can you help me?
Put your hand on his shoulder.
Yeah, can you help me get him out?
Yes, exactly.
It's curfew time. I don't want to arrest anybody.
Say, sir, I need some help here.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take another quick break, our last one of the hour, and we'll be back with more with Pat Englade on Exiles TV. Stay with us.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. Our final segment, joining us, former Police Chief Pat Englade. He is now the Executive Director of the Capital Area Law Enforcement Foundation. Kevin and I have agreed to work with Pat and you to have a series of discussions about race relations, about sensitivities, about police anxiety, about fear of police, about support of police. And this is really all about having a discussion about trying to find solutions as individuals, not just having the experts tell us what we must do. We want a lot of ordinary people to volunteer to do this. We will do these discussions here on television. We'll also do them on our podcast. I don't want to have a room with 75 people. That makes it a little hard. But if we do 4 and 5 at a time and rotate people through...
Focus groups.
Yeah.
Focus groups.
Everybody can be heard.
Groups of, 4 or 5, maybe 6 at the most.
If you would like to volunteer, and I'm going to trust that those of you who do volunteer are doing it in good faith.
We're also going to trust that those of you that volunteer are willing to talk. We don't want you to sit there quiet during the entire... Talk to us.
You'll have to give an hour or so of your time, and we want to have some meaningful discussion. And we're not saying you have to agree with anybody else. We just want, if you disagree, to tell us why and not be disagreeable about it.
Right.
And
let's all be adults.
Let's talk to each other like we care about each other, because I think deep down inside we do.
We do.
And
we just got to figure out how to get back there.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. We talk about racial disparity and systemic racism and things like that. And I'm not going to deny that these things exist. That would be like denying that evil exists. We know we understand that evil exists. We understand there are people with bad hearts out there. But let's all remember August 2016, when it did not matter the color of the guy that was coming to your house in a boat to pull you out of that flood. And it didn't matter the color of the guy in the house to the dude who was in the boat. It was people helping people. And that's what we do here in Louisiana. And I like to think that that is human nature almost everywhere. That when the chips are down and times are tough, we all do come together. And we find more that we have in common than we have apart. But discussions like this, if we really want the situation to get better, and we don't want to see another Philando Castile, we don't want to see another Alton Sterling, we don't want to see another George Floyd, then we've got to have these discussions. And we've got to see what can possibly be done, be put into public policy to help prevent this from happening.
And I want to clarify something. If you are an expert, if you are a priest or a minister or a preacher,
criminologist,
if you are someone who works in race relations, if you are a cop, you are welcome too. But we want you to volunteer as an individual. We could reach out to the usual suspects, and I mean no disrespect, because all of these are very eminent people. And we could reach out to them, but we want to try it this way first and reach out to y'all. So they can contact us through Caleb. What's the website for Caleb?
CALEF.LA.
And they can also come to the Exiles TV website, which is either Kevin at Exiles TV.
Well, it's an email address, but yeah.
Or Bill at Exiles TV.
Right. Just either one of our first names, Kevin or Bill at exilestv.com.
Tell us you're willing to do this, and we will contact you personally, and we will start setting these things up very quickly. This is not
as quickly as we can.
This is not something that's going to start in August. This is going to start pretty much now.
I think it needs to start now.
Absolutely needs to start. And we are going to deal with race as we see it. We're going to deal with policing as we see it. We're going to deal with outrage as we see it, and hopefully come to some solutions, not just conclusions, some suggestions that we can all share.
See, we need to discuss it as soon as possible, because by August, you never know. We could have second wave of COVID. We could have another hurricane. We could have sniper monkeys invading the country. We never know.
No, you could have another incident just like what happened with Mr. Floyd in Baton Rouge next week, and then what happens?
Yeah. We sure don't want to see that. We do not want to see that. So thank you all for putting a little faith in us and in your fellow man. And like I said, please contact us through any of our websites, or if you know us personally, you can contact us personally.
Facebook.
And we will try to arrange a good group each time that can kind of get together and talk. And we'll be there as well, because we're asking you, so we're going to support you. We may not support your opinions, but we're going to support your right to express them.
Pat Edglade with Caliph and former police chief of Baton Rouge. Thank you. Thank you very much. And to you, we'll talk to you again on Tuesday. Take care, and God bless.
Bye-bye, everybody.